And it seems that it's particularly Bolivia and part of Brazil in these cases. Now, coming back to the map which I showed you before, it's clear that the taurines are mainly consumed in these regions here. The both indicos here, particularly here in this region, which has a low risk of colorectal cancer. Argentina mainly has had the taurines. Africa, particularly in stronger breeds, the zebu cattle. Japan, again, these cattle here, the taurines. And interestingly, Mongolia, where a lot of rats being consumed, entirely lives on yak meat. So this led to the suggestion that there might be a species-specific factor in the common cattle, which we know which might contribute to the increased risk of these types of cattle. Now let's look a little bit specifically into the situation of Japan and Korea. In Japan, which had a very low risk for colon cancer in the past, approximately probably since '65, there was a rather dramatic increase in the risk, reaching now the high-risk countries like Australia, European countries, and Canada. For Korea, the same started probably approximately 20 years later, after the 20 years after the Korean War. In both countries, after the two wars, large amounts of meat and dairy products have been introduced. This is statistics from the Japanese Agricultural Ministry, showing here the introduction of meat since 1946 and also of dairy products during the same period of time. And at the same time, the consumption of cereals decreased. And if you take away the 20 years period between Korea and Japan, then the curves entirely overlap in the increase of colorectal cancer risk and in the increase of meat consumption and also in the decrease of cereal consumption. And this corresponds here with the increase in colorectal, colon cancer in particular. Now, in Japan and in Korea, in this period of time, specific meals became quite popular. And many of you must have experienced the shabu shabu in Japan, a meat fondue where slices of meat are briefly dipped into boiling water and taken out with the chopsticks. And after that time, the outer part is well done, the inner part is still raw. In Korea, the so-called Korean yakko, a crude preparation of tartar, beef tartar became very popular, is now becoming popular in many of the other East Asian countries as well.